Hi guys! So today's video is going to be my July TBR, but also I am going to be hosting another giveaway because I just recently hit 2,000 subscribers, which is kind of crazy. I feel like you guys are all super nice, but you need to stop being so supportive because I'm like running out of money. In all seriousness, I really appreciate all of your guys' support. I love getting to talk to you all about books, about your favorite books, your suggestions, the books you're excited about. I am going to be picking one winner this time because I really can't afford to have too many winners this time, so just one. But to enter, you're just gonna say hashtag EBGive2000 in the comment section down below. And I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a Q&A this time so that you guys could get to know me, I guess, a little better. I feel really vain doing a Q&A, like, oh, you guys should ask me questions about me. But I figure I always enjoy watching other people do Q&As, so I thought it'd be kind of fun to do one. So this time to enter the giveaway, just the hashtag I mentioned, along with any kind of question you have for me, book-related, career-related, college, the book I'm writing, music, whatever. Anything you guys want to ask is on the table with the exception of, like, inappropriate questions. Like, don't be weird and gross. The winner of the giveaway will get a $20 gift card to a book depository. The deadline this time is July 20th. That being said, I'm gonna finally jump into the TBR. This month, I'm gonna be buddy reading with a bunch of other booktubers. I'll link all their channels down below, and I also want to give you guys kind of a heads up as to when in the month I'm thinking of reading these books so that if you want to buddy read, you can tag along. So the first 5 books on my list I am hoping to get around to within the first 2 weeks of July, and the first one is the sequel to Red Rising called Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. Red Rising is a story, it's a science fiction story, but it doesn't feel too science fiction-y. If you guys watch my channel a lot, you know that I love fantasy, but I have a stick up my butt about science fiction for some reason, and Red Rising is like mending all of that. It's so good, and the story is told in a very straightforward manner, which is kind of refreshing because usually with science fiction and fantasy, they're really long and really detailed. Red Rising, though, follows a man named Darrow in his fight for essentially gaining his group of people, his class of people that are known as Reds, the respect and equality that they deserve. So it's a story about the Reds rising. I'm going to be reading it with Derby Lane Reading, along with the Reading Puppet and Leanna's Library. I'm really nervous because another kind of booktube friend group that I know, they're like a couple books and looks. I thought Red Rising was super emotional as it was, but she was telling me that the third one in this series made her super emotional. I was like, I don't know if I can take anymore. The next book, I just mentioned Books and Looks, so I'm going to be buddy reading it with her and Possibly Literate, who's hilarious. You guys should go check out both their channels. But that would be 3 Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake. I've heard mixed things about this book. I think a lot of people feel that it's not as action-packed as the premise makes it sound, and the premise is that there are 3 daughters, they're triplets to the queen, and they have to essentially battle it out for the throne. So that premise makes it sound like there's going to be a lot of action and everything, but apparently there's a lot more intrigue. I personally love political intrigue, I love scheming, and I love just politicking, I guess you could say. So to me, I think it sounds fantastic. The next book is one that I'm so excited for because I have been craving more adult fantasy books recently, and everybody says that this book is so good, and that is The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. This story follows a group of tricksters and thieves who essentially have to take out, you know, the bad guy, the antagonist. But it's apparently like a mix of Ocean's 11 and Robin Hood, and I think a lot of times people have a feeling that adult fantasy is kind of slow and like overly detailed and stuffy, and it sounds like this one is very much the opposite of that. I've heard that there's a lot of humor and it's super fun. The last book that I'm hoping to get around to within the first 2 weeks, and will actually probably be like starting tomorrow, is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. This is more actually of a science fiction book than it is fantasy, and it's a fairy tale retelling, and I'm going to be reading this with Sarah Paper Words. There is a book that I plan to read via audiobook. I just started getting into audiobooks this last month, and I read, I feel weird saying read when it's I listened to the second Mistborn on audiobook, and the narrator is amazing. If you guys aren't sure about audiobooks or you just don't know where to start, I highly recommend Mistborn. But anyway, so I'm going to be listening to the third book by Brandon Sanderson. It's called The Hero of Ages. I I don't want to finish it. I'm just really nervous because I love this book so much. I love this series so much, and I just am so nervous about it. Also, recently I have discovered that the Polish editions of the Mistborn series are awesome. The covers are so cool, and I have been searching all over the internet trying to find them, and I can only find the second and the third one. I can't find the first one available on any Polish websites, and it's driving me crazy. So if any of my Polish friends know where I can get that stupid first book, let me know, because I have spent way too much time on the internet searching for it. Anyway, the third week of the month, I am hoping to finally get around to the book Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Like most people, I'm afraid to start it because the third one has no publication date in sight. But regardless, everybody says that this series doesn't even matter if they get the third one, that it's still so good. So I'm finally gonna get around to it, and I'm gonna be buddy reading this with Kelsey Lee Reads and Eclectic Reads. So I'm gonna link their channels down below. You can check them out. The next book I'm hoping to get around to is called Shiva by Lyra Shanti. This is a book about a savior-like character who's trying to bring together a society that has kind of been pitted against each other because of science versus religion. It is science fiction, and like I said earlier, I'm stupid when it comes to science fiction, and I'm always like, I don't know, it's just not as good as fantasy. So hopefully, just like Red Rising, this will help me stop being really stupid and prejudiced towards science fiction. Next up, I have two comic book series that I would like to read a little bit of. One series in particular is one that I have already started, and it's quite long, so you're probably gonna hear me talk about it in every single wrap-up in TBR. But that would be the Fable series by Bill Willingham. Like I've said in previous videos, this follows the big bad wolf named Bigby and Snow from Snow White in New York City. Them and a bunch of other fables, characters from different fairy tales, have had to move into what's known as Fabletown, glamored as humans, to escape the adversary who has pushed them out of their homeland. The other comic book series I'd like to start is one that my husband actually just recently did a review up on his channel, so I'll link that down below or in the little like thing that goes at the top of the screen. But that would be Lazarus, sorry. But anyway, this series follows this awesome like super soldier chick in a world where the top 1% run the world, and they have these people called Lazarus who are like their protectors, and they do all their dirty work for them, and the main character forever is the Lazarus for the Carlisle family. Another book that I'm hoping to read this month, I don't actually have my copy of it because I lent it to a friend, that bookie, and her and I are both going to be reading it, and possibly Sylvia K. But that would be the book City of Masks by Mary Hoffman. It's about a boy named Lucian who's going through chemotherapy, and he falls asleep one day and wakes up in a parallel world to our own. Because of his ability now to go between these two different worlds, there are people that are after him. He's immediately kind of swept into the politics of this parallel world. And it's got a lot of political intrigue on top of a really cool Italian flair. The last two books that I'm hoping to get around to are The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin, which was a recommendation on possibly Literat's channel. She says it is absolutely awesome. It follows multiple different female perspectives, and that it's super confusing at first, but the magic system is derived from different natural events that occur. And those have to do with the fifth season. And then the last book that I'm hoping to get around to is Promise of Blood by Brian McClellan. I'll be reading this book with Ravenclaw Rochelle, but the premise is very heavily influenced by the French Revolution. It's about an uprising, and it has guns, which I feel like is really not common at all in fantasy. You usually find fantasy is more medieval, with swords and, you know, that kind of thing. But anyway, I think it sounds really cool, right up my alley, and I've heard good things about Brian McClellan's writing in general, and I want to finally get started with his works. Anyway, that's it though, guys. If you have any comments or questions or anything, leave them in the comment section down below. If you like the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click the little bell icon so you can see more of my videos as soon as they're posted, and if you'd like to check out some of my videos, they're right over here. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great 4th of July, because that's coming up next week, and I will see you guys later. Bye.